We all know that population growth is a problem, but the extent at which population will increase in the next 20 to 30 years is unfathomable. Right now, the countries with the highest population, China, India, and America, are just recognizing this major concern. But even as they start to take action, smaller developing countries where the rate of population growth continually increases don't yet understand the consequences of having 5 to 6 children per household. Let's look at this on a scale of a country like Uganda. Uganda is now 34 million people. In 2050, it will be 150 million. And 17 years later, Uganda will be 300 million people, the size of the U.S. today. But what about a country like China? What does the future of population look like for them? In October 1999, the world's population surpassed 6 billion, China's population being 1/5 of this amount, which means that for every 4 people in the world, there was at least one Chinese person. And as early as 2 CE during the Han Dynasty, China had a population of 60 million, approximately 1/4 of the world's population at that time. And for a little more than 1,000 years, China's population remained steady, fluctuating between 37 and 60 million, until the Ming Dynasty, when China's population began to increase rapidly. When Mao Zedong came to power in 1949, China's population was 500 million. 30 years later, it had nearly doubled. And more recent, there are issues arising concerned with population control and the implementation of China's famous one-child policy. China's one-child policy was established by Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping in 1979 to limit China's population growth. It seems, however, that this policy is not without bias, since it's enforced particularly to urban ethnic group, the Han Chinese, and not to minorities or people living in rural areas. The policy limits couples to one child, fines, pressures to abort pregnancy, and even forced sterilization accompanied second or subsequent pregnancies. And although social issues have erupted from this policy, one thing cannot be denied, that it has worked. In its first 20 years, the country was estimated to have reduced its population by 300 million. But sure enough, one controversy such as the one-child policy will lead to another: child abandonment. Hundreds of thousands of baby girls are abandoned every year in China. The babies are abandoned in public places, such as busy streets, railway stations, and in front of public buildings, so that they will be found quickly. The babies are abandoned as infants, usually when they are only a few days old. In addition to little girls, handicapped babies, and sick babies, both boys and girls are also abandoned, because most parents in China don't have the money to provide their special needs. Once found, the abandoned babies are given a medical exam, and then taken to orphanages. Adoption, however, has been a silver lining in these issues until recently, when China began enforcing its much stricter rules. Shivangi Patel sat down with an older couple and a widowed husband who have struggled with the issue.
Hi, we're here today with Ben and Michaela, and we're going to talk to them about their adoption. So what's the name of your daughter?
Elizabeth Caroline Taylor.
She's fit and healthy for the family. Are you raising her well?
Of course we are. You know, we're American culture. She gets 3 meals a day. Better than the orphanage she was living in. You know, I feel like we're giving her more opportunities than she would be able to receive in China.
So how old are y'all? 52.
55.
Do you know about the recent policies for adoption from China has changed?
They currently changed it to where you can't be 50, like you have to be under 50 to adopt a child from China.
Hello Dave, how are you today?
Pretty good.
So tell me about yourself.
I am 31 years old, live in Florida with my daughter, Brittany. She's 5 years old.
So what's the situation with your wife?
Well, my wife died back in 2001. It was really tough on me and my family. Excuse me a second. I can't adopt, and Brittany's sister is over in Japan, and I want to adopt both of them. So they won't let me because I'm a single parent, and you know, I just want to have a family.